Welcome, dear students, to this last video on our database. And in this video, we are talking about file organization. A file is a collection of related records because we know that a file is similar to a table or a relation. The way of arranging records in a file when the file is stored on disk is known as file organization. File organization does not refer to how files are organized in folders, no, but how the contents of a file are added or accessed. The type and frequency of access required determine the type of file organization to be used for a given set of records. The main objectives of file organization are optimal selection of records, that is, records should be accessed as fast as possible. Any insert, update, or delete operation on record should be easy, quick, and should not harm other records. No duplicate records should be induced as a result of insert, update, or delete. And records should be stored Records should be stored efficiently so that cost of storage should be minimal. Now, there are various methods of file organization which are efficient for certain type of access selection operation and inefficient for other selections. So, it is up to the programmer to decide the best suited file organization method depending on their requirements. One, we have serial files. Serial files are files in which records are stored in chronological order. We know that one, that is one after the other, with no particular sequence. As each record is received, it is stored in the next available storage space. In order to access a particular record, the file must be read record by record from the beginning of the file until the required record is found. So in this case, it is like on a magnetic tape. This type of access is called serial access, which is very slow, which makes it impossible for serial files to be very useful. Serial files are not very useful if individual records have to be looked up and if they are used as the main advantage that what they are used as temporary files to store transaction data. So serial files are not the best option if individual records have to be looked up because the time for me to get at the file number 50, I will still need to pass through 1, 2, 3 up to 49. But the main advantage is that what they are used as temporary files to store transaction data. Those are serial files. Sequential files are a specific type of serial files in which records are stored in order by a record key field. The records are sorted according to a given field that identifies each record in the file in a unique way. Just like serial files, sequential files are accessed serially, but they are particularly useful when a whole file or data has to be processed as it is faster and more efficient than other methods. So that's the difference between sequential files and serial files. In sequential file, it is true, it is still done record by record, but it is according to a given field that specifies each record, as you know. Sequential files are ideal for master files and batch processing applications such as payroll and billing system in which almost all records are processed in a single run of the application. Serial and sequential file can be stored on both magnetic disk and magnetic tape. They are particularly suited to tape, which is a sequential access medium. The other one is the indexed sequential file. It is a sequential file in which an index is added to support random access. In this type of file, records are stored in blocks. That is, we store record in blocks, and the address of every block is stored in an index. Indexed sequential file therefore combine the advantages of sequential file with the possibility of direct access. To access any record in the file, the index is searched to determine the block to which the record belongs. The record is then searched for sequentially but only within the block. So in this case, we are grouping them into blocks, and when we are to search, we just search for the index of that particular block and we perform a sequential search within that block and not throughout the whole file again. That's why it is called indexed sequential file. And the last category is what we call random files. A random file is one in which records are stored in any order. In this type, the value of a record key is mapped by a hash function. For those of you who did data structure, watch the video on data structure, you know what hash functions are all about. So the value of the record key is mapped by a hash function to an address within the file where the record will be stored. Any record within this type of file can be accessed directly without reference to any other record. So those are the four different type of files we have when it comes to databases. As the tradition stipulates, this is our last video. These are some of the exercises, some of the questions I would like you to go through. Throughout the different case studies we have, it was mostly sample questions and regional mock questions. So as exercise, I would like you to be treating GC question. Like we have June 2025 question 4, a full question. We have GC June 2024 question 4 also, another full question. So 2026, who knows? You can have a full question only on database. And when I see 2025, a case study is given, a diagram to be drawn, definition of a database model, difference between relational and flat file, benefits of using relational file models, everything that we have done just now. And that is why being a member of the Byte family will enable you to level up and unlock your potential when it comes to advanced level computer science 795. Same thing for 2024. Definition that we've done already, simple normalization, dependency, and all. Also, this 2022 question 5, another full question, normalization, very easy. 2020 question 6, another full question. Then exercise 5, June 2019 question 3, another full question. So dear students, these are 5 questions I would like you guys to attempt in order to be sure that you actually pass through the different videos of the Byte family. Thank you and see you in the next video. And when I mean next video, I mean the introduction of SQL practicals.